to start off our lesson for today by talking about exam updates. First thing that you need to know is that the exam is May 20th at 1 p.m. The exam is a week later than it was going to be. The one thing about this that we do need to note is that if you are planning on not taking the test, you can go to total registration and you can unenroll from the test with no penalty. You'll get all your money back. You were only, before this, you were going to have a penalty, financial penalty for that, but now you can get all your money back. So you can go and do that at any time. If you are taking the test, we are going to be getting some more tools and resources within the next couple of days that's going to help you see what this is going to look like and see what the testing portal looks like on your screens, and you're going to be able to play around with that. The test is going to be one essay that's 45 minutes, and I know I've said this like 7 times, but I just want to make sure that everyone is super clear about what the expectations are. You're going to have 45 minutes to read the passage, annotate the passage, and then write your essay. And then after that, you'll have 5 minutes to upload. After that, your screen will be locked. So I do want to talk first about this 45 minutes to write. We are so used to getting a piece of paper and then being able to annotate it with pen or pencil and write all over it. You're not going to have that this time. You are going to have it on the screen. And unless you maybe have your screen open, you're doing it on your computer at home, you take a picture of the prompt with your iPad, and then you annotate it with your iPad, that's really the only way I can see you being able to do that. I wouldn't trust like printing the passage. If you have an at-home printer, I know I don't have a printer at home, so that wouldn't be an option for me. But there are some things that maybe you can start to think about. The fact that you are not really going to be able to annotate this passage. Then you're going to have that 5 minutes to upload. You're going to be able to handwrite this essay or type the essay. If you handwrite it, you're going to take a picture of your written essay and then you're going to upload that. It's, like I said, a rhetorical analysis essay, so that's why we are going to be only working on this in the test review the next 3 weeks. The one thing that I do want to talk about is the fact that there is a notes page allowed. This is huge. This is incredible. You are going to be able to create a cheat sheet that's going to let you guide yourself on how to do this, and we're actually going to have this be one of our lessons in the next couple of weeks, is how to create a cheat sheet that will be easy for you to reference back to. Alright, so what we're going to talk about today is an aspect of the test that oftentimes gets overlooked, and that is the beginning of the essay. So this is what the passage is going to look like. This is the standard passage. It's always going to look like this. It has for like 15 years. And at the very top is the rhetorical situation. It is the background knowledge that is needed in order to understand the test. As you go down here, this is the good stuff. This is the stuff that you need to analyze. All of this stuff is the stuff that you're going to be reading and analyzing. But people oftentimes skip this part because it's just background, they think. Well, the problem with skipping this part is that this gives you crucial information in order to understand the passage and in order to write your essay. So let's look at this one together, and I'm going to talk about how I would tackle this essay. So here it says, in the following passage from George Bernard Shaw's play St. Joan, which is based on the life of Joan of Arc, they don't quite know when she was born, but she died in 1431. Joan, a young French woman, is on trial in church court for allegedly spreading heresy. Now, I'm going to pause real quick here. Heresy. You very well might not know what heresy means. If there's a word that is crucial for understanding, if there is a word that may be a little bit confusing, but you absolutely need to know the word in order to understand the passage, they will always either define it or explain it in the next sentence. In this case, they put the definition right after it. So, beliefs at variance with established religious doctrine. So, heresy means that you believe something that the religious officials disagree with. Now, the problem I see with this one is you might not know what doctrine means. If this was, pre-COVID, you would just have to figure it out and you'd have to trust your gut. Since you are going to be taking this test at home, and since you are going to be able to use notes and technological tools, if I were you, I would just have my cell phone next to me and say, "Hey Siri, what does doctrine mean?" But you need to do this stuff quickly. You are not going to be able to, nor should you, nor do you have time, you're not going to be able to read the Wikipedia page on Joan of Arc. It's just not possible. So instead, what you need to do is just trust what they give you here, and then trust your ability to analyze the text on your own. So here it says, dressed in armor, Joan led the French troops against the English. She was eventually captured, turned over to the English, and then tried by French clerics who supported the English. The most serious crime she was charged with was her claim that she had received direct inspiration from God. Okay, so I'm thinking about Joan of Arc. I do know something about Joan of Arc, but maybe if I didn't know anything about Joan of Arc, I would say, okay, she went on a crusade, she was dressed in armor, she led French troops against the English, and she was told that God told her to do. She said that God told her to do this. Now, I want to remind you, in the first sentence, this says it's a play. This is not transcripts from 1431 of what someone actually said in church. So, now, here it says, carefully read the inquisitor's speech to the church court whose members were to decide Joan's fate. Then, in a well-written essay, analyze the rhetorical strategies the inquisitor uses to argue his case against Joan. So, what are you going to do in this essay? You are going to first look for rhetorical strategies. Then you need to find your best strategies that are used in order to argue against Joan. So this person is trying to say that either she should die or be imprisoned because she had received direct inspiration from God. She's claiming to have been God sent. All right? So I'm going to email this out to you for you to look at and just take a quick look through to say, if you were to do this, what would you write? I want you to just look through this. And if you have any questions about how would you write this essay, please email me what you would say, like what your questions are. What do you not know? What are your questions? What do you not know about how you would write this essay now that it's been explained? And then I want you to just read through this really quickly. So this is going to be on the Canvas course. I want you to look through this and say to yourself, if I had to write this essay, what would I do? Okay, what questions do I have? That's going to help me, and the questions that you send me are going to help me plan my lessons for next week. Okay, so that's why I want you to do this. Read through this. What questions do you have if you were to be writing this essay? Okay, so now this is the first part of our lesson for today. The next part of the lesson for today is you are going to be reading a passage from Frederick Douglass, and hang on one second. All right, I'm going to pause the video here, and I am going to put the Frederick Douglass stuff up on the next page. So you're going to be looking at the Frederick Douglass passage, and you're going to be reading and annotating it. And then you are going to be doing a graphic organizer that analyzes each part of the piece by Frederick Douglass. I will be putting that up on Canvas right now, and I'll put detailed explanations up as well. All right, thanks everybody.